People like to pretend they've got everything under control, that they can handle whatever life throws at them with a smile, a little patience, maybe a deep breath or two. But that's a lie, isn't it? Because when things really get hard, when the walls start closing in, when the pressure turns to weight, when everything feels like it's slipping through their fingers, what do? They panic. They break. They look around, desperate for someone to save them. People walk around thinking life owes them something, a smooth road, a little respect, maybe a pat on the back for trying their best. But life doesn't care. Life hands out problems like a dealer shuffling cards, and nobody gets to fold. You take what you're given, and you play. But here's the trick. Most people, they see difficulty as a bad hand, something unfair, something to complain about. They act like problems are roadblocks, like they were meant to be somewhere easy and life just rudely got in the way. Like they were promised a shortcut and now they're offended that it's uphill. Funny, isn't it? How people spend their whole lives running from the very thing that's supposed to make them better. Oh, they want growth, sure. They want success. They want to be stronger, smarter, untouchable. But they don't want the process. They don't want to go through the part where it hurts. They want power without pain, wisdom without wounds, victory without war. And when they realize it doesn't work like that there's no bypass, no loophole, no magic way out, that's when they break. That's when they quit. That's when they start whispering to themselves that maybe, just maybe, they were never meant for more. But difficult isn't a wall, it's a doorway. It's a test. It's life looking you right in the eyes and asking, how bad do you want it? And most people, they don't. They want easy. They want comfortable. They want everything handed to them in a neat little package with a guarantee and a return policy. But the ones who make it, the ones who become something, they're the ones who understand the truth. That difficulty is the only way through, that every problem, every struggle, every moment that feels like too much is just another invitation to level up. See, people think they want success, they think they want strength, but those things, they have requirements. You don't just wake up one day powerful. You don't just wake up unshakable, untouchable, impossible to break. No. You earn it. You bleed for it. You suffer for it. Because every time life throws something at you and you handle it, you get sharper. Every time you fall and get back up, you get stronger. Every time you keep going, when every part of you is screaming to stop, you become something else, something different, something rare. But most people never make it that far, because the second things get tough, the second life stops being polite, they start looking for the exit. They start blaming, complaining, crying about how unfair it all is, because deep down they still think they deserve easy. They still think the world should cooperate with them. They don't understand that the struggle isn't a mistake. It's the path, that every difficulty isn't blocking them from their goal. It is the goal. But you want to know the real difference between the ones who make it and the ones who don't? The ones who win and the ones who disappear? It's simple. The ones who win, the ones who become something, they stop waiting for easy. They stop running from difficulty. They stop seeing struggle as something to get through and start seeing it as something to use. They don't wake up hoping the day will be smooth. They wake up prepared for the storm. They don't panic when things go wrong. They expect it. They don't waste time wishing things were easier. They get stronger. And that changes everything. Because once you stop seeing difficulty as an enemy, once you stop fighting the process and start embracing it, suddenly you become someone that nothing can break. Someone that life stops messing with. Because the truth is, life doesn't get easier, you just get better at handling it. People act like fighting makes things harder. Like if they just relax, if they just go with the flow, everything will magically get better. But that's not how it works. See, life has this funny little rule. The more you resist, the heavier the burden becomes. And most people, they don't get that. They fight against everything, every problem, every setback, every challenge. They act like it shouldn't be there, like life is somehow wrong for making them struggle. So they push, they resist, they fight against what is, instead of learning how to move through it. And in the end, it just makes everything worse. Ever seen someone stuck in quicksand? They panic, they flail, they fight, and what happens? They sink faster, because the more you resist, the deeper you go. The more you struggle against the struggle, the stronger it holds you. And the ones who survive, they don't fight it. They understand it. They move with it. Because the only way out isn't to struggle harder, it's to stop resisting. But people don't like that idea. They want to feel in control. They want to believe that if they just push hard enough, if they just refuse to accept the hardship, it'll go away. But that's not control, that's fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of letting go, fear of accepting that life is never going to cooperate with them. And so they keep resisting. Keep fighting against reality, thinking they're being strong, when all they're really doing is making their own suffering worse. See, people think pain comes from the problem. They think the thing that hurts them is the situation, the challenge, the setback. But pain doesn't come from what happens. It comes from their resistance to it. Two people can go through the exact same struggle, and one of them comes out stronger, while the other falls apart. Same problem, same difficulty, completely different outcome. Why? Because one of them embraced it, and the other fought it. Look around. Do you ever notice how the most powerful people, the ones who really seem untouchable, they don't panic. They don't waste time complaining about how unfair it all is. They just move. They adjust. They use what's happening instead of wasting their energy trying to deny it. And that's why nothing breaks them. Not because they're lucky, not because life is easier for them, but because they understand the game. They don't fight reality. They master it. But most people, they do the opposite. They act like life owes them something. They act like it's unfair that things don't go their way. And the more they resist, the heavier it all becomes. Because life doesn't care how much you wish things were different. Life doesn't care how hard you fight against the truth. All life does is respond. And if you keep struggling, keep resisting, keep fighting against the inevitable, all you're doing is tightening your own chain. And that's the real trick, isn't it? The ones who make it, the ones who rise, they don't get there by force, they get there by flow. They don't waste time wishing the storm wasn't happening, they become the storm. They don't waste energy fighting against the fire, they walk through it, knowing it's the only way to forge steel. And once you figure that out, once you stop resisting what life is throwing at you, Suddenly, things stop feeling so impossible, not because life gets easier, but because you stop making it harder. People love to believe that if something is hard, it means it's wrong. Like the moment things get difficult, that's life's way of saying, stop, turn around, go back. But that's not how it works. No. See, the hard way? That's usually the only way. But people don't like that idea. They want shortcuts. They want hacks. They want to glide through life like it's all prearranged for them, like every door should just open with a smile. And the second things don't go that way, they panic. They complain. They start looking for a way out instead of a way through. You ever seen how people act when they hit a wall? They freeze. They hesitate. They doubt. They start asking the wrong questions. Why is this happening to me? Why is life so unfair? Why can't things just be easy? But the wall doesn't care about their questions. The wall doesn't move just because they whine about it. And the people who get stuck, they stand there, banging their heads against the bricks, acting like if they just wished hard enough the wall would disappear. But the ones who make it, they don't stand around wishing, they climb. That's the funny part, isn't it? Everybody wants success. Everybody wants to win. But the moment they realize that winning comes with struggle, with failure, with pain, suddenly they're not so sure. They tell themselves, maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe I should quit. Maybe the universe is trying to tell me something. No. The only thing the universe is telling you is how bad do you want it. And that's the part people don't like to hear because they don't want it bad enough. They don't want to go through the fire. They just want to arrive. But it doesn't work like that. No one just arrives. The ones at the top, they bled for it, they suffered, they fell so many times they lost count, and every single time they got back up. Not because they felt like it, not because they were motivated, but because they had to, because there was no other option, because the idea of staying down was worse than the pain of getting up. It's what people don't understand. They think motivation is the key. They think they need to feel ready. No, you don't wait for motivation. You move without it. See, life has this little trick. The second you decide to go after something, the second you decide to chase something bigger, life tests you. It throws everything it has in your way, obstacles, failures, setbacks, betrayals. And most people, they take that as a sign to quit. They think it means they should turn around. But the truth, that's just the price of admission. That's life. Checking if you're serious. And the ones who make it, they don't turn back. They pay the price. Look around. You ever notice how the ones who truly make it, the ones who get everything they ever wanted, they all tell the same story? I lost everything. I struggled for years. I almost gave up. It's never, it was easy. It's never, everything went according to plan. Because it never does. It never will. The moment you set out to do something real, something great, life will test you. And the only way through is to keep moving, to stop looking for a way around the pain and just walk straight through it. And that's what separates the ones who win from the ones who watch others win. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not some secret formula. It's the ability to keep going when everything is telling you to stop. It's the ability to take the hits, to swallow the pain, to look at every failure, every setback, every broken moment, and say again. Because the truth is, the moment you stop looking for easy, the moment you stop expecting it to be smooth, Suddenly, nothing can stop you. People think they can handle pressure until pressure starts pressing back. They say they're strong. They say they don't break easy, but the second life turns up the heat, they're looking for a way out. Funny, isn't it? How people love to talk about resilience but hate to prove it. See, everybody wants to believe they're built for the storm until the storm actually hits. Then suddenly, they're not so sure anymore. It's a game, you see. Life sets the pieces, moves them around, and then waits, watches, tests you. You ever notice how the second you decide to change, the second you try to climb a little higher, life throws everything it can in your way? You get problems from places you never expected. You get stabbed in the back by people you trusted. You get hit over and over. And you start wondering if maybe this whole thing was a mistake. Maybe it's not meant to be. Maybe you should just go back to being like everyone else. That's the real trick, isn't it? Life doesn't have to stop you. It just has to make you stop yourself. And it does it so well. Not by force, no, by doubt, by exhaustion. By whispering little lies in your ear. It's too hard. It's not worth it. You're not strong enough. And most people, they listen. They start bargaining with their own potential. Maybe I don't need to go that far. Maybe I should just be satisfied with where I am. And that's how it wins. Not by knocking you out, but by getting you to lay down all on your own. You ever seen what happens when people start feeling comfortable with their excuses? They get defensive. They start explaining why they had to quit, why it was the right decision. They start looking for people who will nod and agree with them, who will say, yeah, you tried your best. But deep down, they know. They know they let something beat them, and that feeling, that's a poison that doesn't go away. Because once you let one excuse in, it gets easier. The next time something gets hard, you quit a little faster. And the time after that, even faster. Until one day, you don't even try at all. That's why most people never change. It's not because they can't. It's because they've trained themselves to quit. They've taught themselves that the moment things get too uncomfortable, too painful, they should stop. They deserve to stop. But here's the thing. Pain is not the enemy. Struggle is not the enemy. The real enemy, avoidance. That's the thing that keeps you weak. That's the thing that keeps you trapped. The longer you run from difficulty, the softer you become, the more fragile, the more easily broken. Look around. The people who are truly strong, the ones who seem untouchable, unshakable, they didn't start that way. They were built in the fire. They were forged in it. They learn to sit with the struggle, to take the pain, to wear it like armor. Because here's the secret. The more you lean into difficulty, the less it controls you. The more you embrace it, the more power you have over it. See, people think they have to wait until they feel ready to fight back. They think they need the perfect moment to start moving, to start changing. But that moment never comes. There's never a perfect time to be strong. Strength isn't something you wait for, it's something you choose. And every time you make that choice, every time you take the hit and keep standing, you win. Not in a flashy way, not in a way the world will always see, but in the only way that actually matters. People want to believe they're in control, that they've got the reins, that their hands are steady, that every move they make is part of some grand, brilliant plan. But the truth is most people are just reacting, bouncing from one problem to the next, one disappointment to another, like a puppet on strings they can't even see. They tell themselves they're making choices, but really they're just dodging. Dodging pain, dodging pressure, dodging anything that makes them feel too small. You ever watch someone who's lost? Not the kind of lost where they don't know where they are. The kind where they don't know who they are. It's funny, really. They walk around with this look in their eye like they're waiting for something to happen. Like any second now, life is going to come knocking with a neat little answer wrapped up with a bow telling them exactly what to do next. But life doesn't work like that. Life doesn't hand out roadmaps. It doesn't care if you're confused. And that's where the problem starts. Because when people don't know what to do, they start looking for anyone who does. They cling to voices that sound confident, even if those voices are leading them nowhere. They follow footsteps that have no destination. They put their trust in hands that will never pull them up. And then one day they wake up and realize, this isn't where I wanted to be. But by then the chains are already tight. The weight's already there. And moving feels impossible. That's how most people live, stuck in places they don't belong, following people they don't trust, pretending they're okay with it, and the worst part, they know better. Somewhere deep inside, they know. But knowing and acting, those are two very different things. See, most people don't lack knowledge, they lack nerve. They lack the guts to do what needs to be done, because doing that would mean breaking free. And breaking free, that's painful. People don't like pain. They avoid it, they numb it, they pretend it's not there. But the ones who win, they walk through it. They let it sharpen them, because pain is a sculptor. It carves away the weak parts, the soft parts, the parts that keep you stuck. And if you let it, if you really let it, it will show you who you really are. But most people never get that far, because right when the change starts to hurt, right when it starts to demand something from them, they quit. They go running back to the comfort of their cages. They convince themselves that being stuck isn't so bad, that maybe they weren't meant for something more. And that's the moment they lose. Not to the world, not to their enemies, but to themselves. The ones who make it, they're different. They don't wait for the right moment, the right feeling. They move, even when they're scared, even when it hurts, even when every part of them is screaming to turn back. And that's what sets them apart. That's what makes them dangerous. Because once you stop running from pain, once you start using it, nothing can stop you. Nothing. People walk around thinking they've got all the time in the world, like there's some giant hourglass somewhere filled with endless sand, always refilling itself every time they waste a day. They tell themselves, tomorrow I'll get serious, next week I'll start changing, next year I'll be different. But tomorrow comes, and next week shows up, and next year laughs in their face, because they're still standing in the same place, spinning the same stories, making the same excuses. It's funny, isn't it, how people beg for a way out, but when the door cracks open, they just stand there staring, like a dog who's been in a cage too long. You ever seen that? You take the lock off, swing the door wide, and they just sit. because the cage became home. Because the idea of running free, that's terrifying. People are the same. They pray for change, cry for it, scream for it, until it shows up. And suddenly, they're not so sure. Because change is cruel. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rips things apart. It drags you through the fire. It takes a wrecking ball to everything comfortable, everything safe, and it leaves you standing in the rubble, staring at the pieces of the life you thought you needed. And that's the moment most people crawl back. They look at the mess, at the chaos, and instead of building something new, they run back to the ruins, trying to glue them back together. That's the mistake. That's the trap. Trying to fix something that was never meant to be fixed. Holding on to things that should have been left behind, because the truth is, most of what people cling to, it's already dead. The friendships they swear they can't lose, the habits they refuse to let go of, the image of themselves that makes them feel safe. All of it rotting, crumbling, just waiting to be buried. But people, they don't like funerals. They don't like saying goodbye, so they dress the corpse up, put some makeup on it, prop it up in the corner, and pretend it's still alive. That's why they stay stuck. That's why they keep waking up with that empty feeling, that quiet little voice whispering, "This isn't it. This isn't who you're supposed to be." Because deep down, they know. They know. But knowing isn't enough. It never has been. You can know the road is burning, but if you keep walking down it, don't be surprised when your feet catch fire. You can know a storm is coming, but if you refuse to leave, don't complain when the roof caves in. Life doesn't wait. It doesn't slow down because you're scared. It doesn't pause while you decide whether you're strong enough. It keeps moving, keeps demanding, and if you don't move with it, you get left behind. Not with a bang, not with some dramatic explosion, just slowly, quietly, a little more numb every day, a little more bitter, a little more comfortable in the wrong place, until one day, you don't even realize you're trapped. But there's always a moment where the fog clears, where for just a second you see the truth of where you are, see the weight you're carrying, see the lies you've been telling yourself. And that moment, that's your chance. The only question is, what are you going to do with it?